Hi, and thanks for joining us today. On today's show, I get my regular co-host back in the form of Chris Stridgen. We speak about the previous game against Everton in the FA Cup. We'll round up all the transfer gossip from around Europe and look ahead to the next game against Manchester City. As always, we'll have predictions and some fantasy advice for you, so I invite you to sit back, relax, and join us over the pool and far away. Hi, and thanks for joining us today. I'm joined by my somewhat regular co-host Chris Stridgen from the Red Rebel Alliance. Chris, how's it going, mate?
Yeah, not too bad at all, mate. Can't wait for this one this weekend. How are you? Everything okay?
Yeah, everything's fine. Much like yourself, can't really wait for the match. Bit of retribution, but before we get to that, there was the small matter of a Merseyside derby that was played in the FA Cup. Obviously, Liverpool ran out 2-1 winners in that one. What were your thoughts on the game, mate?
I thought we played well and let them back into it a little bit, sort of 10-15 minutes before they got their goal. Penalty kick might have been a little bit light, but it's still a penalty kick, just the same as theirs was at ours. Yeah, happy with it all in all, and obviously Van Dijk getting that goal 5 minutes from time. You can't ask for a better debut than that.
No. I thought it was a proper derby, unlike the last one. I wouldn't say they came to play or anything like that, but they weren't as regimental, if you like, as the last game. There was a lot more blood and thunder in it. Obviously, the main talking point was the Firmino incident with Holgate. Something that we, unfortunately, as ugly as it is, it's something we have to sort of acknowledge. It's been somewhat proven that there were no racial slurs used in the match. The investigation, I believe, is still underway, but they've had lip readers on and they've said that there's nothing to that. I just want to get it out the way, to be honest, because it marred what was quite a good game of football, a much better game of football than I was expecting.
Yeah, totally agree with you. Actually, it was one of the better derbies that we've seen in recent times. But yeah, with that incident, the push in the first place is it's petulant. It was ridiculous. Firmino was well within his rights to come back on the pitch angry. Like you say, lip readers to all extent have said there were no racial slurs or anything. So I don't know what Holgate thought he heard, or whether he was just trying to get the player sent off, or I don't know. Who knows? We won't know until the investigation's finished. But if it does come out that there was no racial slurs, I think Holgate should be facing something similar to what Firmino would have been facing had it been a racial slur.
I get where you're coming from, and it's one of those incidents. Do you believe that he actually believes what he heard? And it's possible, but I mean, my Portuguese isn't great. But the word in question, which I won't say because it might offend some people. Personally, out of context, I just think it's just a word. But out of respect for others, I won't use that M word. But I think it's such a word where it's not something, any of the words that he put together in the sentence, where he called him a crazy son of a bitch, none of them sound remotely similar. So I want to give Holgate the benefit of the doubt, because I don't want to say that he just played the race card. But there's not really much there that would suggest to me that that's what he heard. I wasn't there. I can't say. All I'm saying is my opinion. Do you know what I mean? It's a very tricky situation. I'm trying to handle it as delicate as I can.
Yeah.
What we do know is that he launched Firmino into the crowd, which was very dangerous. Not just for Firmino, for the crowd as well. And there should be retrospective action for that. Because all that happened before the alleged racial slur anyway. So I mean, that would be my take on it. As I say, it's an ugly scene. It mad what was a decent game of football, and I just wanted to get it out the way because it's something that you can't ignore, but it's something that you don't really, you don't want to dwell on, if you like.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Like I say, it's something that we have to address. But yeah, I think you're right to just get it out of the way and done.
So I mean, back to the match. There was two standout performances, obviously that everyone raved about, and that was Virgil van Dijk and Robertson. I don't think many people going into the game thought Robertson would be the player who would get the accolades, but he was outstanding.
Yeah, he was brilliant. I mean, he showed us another side to his game as well. He was one of the first people to get stuck in, to treat it as the game that it was, and it being a derby. He put himself about. He got forward well. He defended well. He did everything you'd want from a fullback. And Moreno was playing well before he got the injury, but he's going to struggle to get back in if this kid carries on playing like that.
Agreed. I thought Van Dijk was outrageously good. I think Robertson's game. I don't want to take anything away from Robertson because he was outstanding, and as I said, but I think his game was massively helped by the influence of Van Dijk. Not just him being on the pitch, which made everyone better anyway, but the way he was barking orders at him, and he he was every bit a leader. For me, it was a 10 out of 10 performance. I know people have said for the goal he could have done this and he could have done that, and you know what? Maybe not. Personally, I think he's damned if he does and he's damned if he doesn't for the goal. I think it's more to do with Chan just watching Phil Jagielka. Was it? It was Jagielka, wasn't it?
Jagielka set it up, yeah.
Yeah, Jagielka just trotted by Chan, and that was the bit that was unforgivable for me. But yeah, I mean, all in all, just a really good, solid, professional performance in a game that was driven by emotion, and I think do you know what? It kind of reminded me of one of the Houllier derbies, in that derbies are an emotional occasion, but the way to win a derby is to not be overly emotional. Don't play to the occasion. Yeah, get stuck in. You should get stuck in any game, but I think some people mentally they allow the derby to get the better of them, and I thought that we didn't do that. I thought we were professional, and I thought we played to our strengths, and we made Everton play our game, and I was very pleased and proud with that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we've seen the occasion even get to the likes of Steven Gerrard, who obviously it means that a little bit more to. So yeah, it can bubble over, and we did deal with it very, very, very well. Saying now about Van Dijk's performance, he looks like he's been there 5 years already. He was outstanding within the first couple of minutes. You can see him barking orders and pointing. He already looks like he's going to make those around him into better players. Me and you have talked about Matip and how good he can now become with a decent centre half next to him. But yeah, you're right to point out the fullbacks as well.
Yeah, they're all going to improve just by
it's just
him being
organise
there.
everybody.
Yeah, no, I agree. They're all just going to improve just by the fact that Van Dijk's there. He's proven it already, and I'll hold my hands up. I like said there is no way that Van Dijk was going to start that game, and I genuinely didn't believe there was. But I did say if he does, it is massive credit to Virgil van Dijk, and that performance to come in, having trained for like a week, under the pressure of being the world's most expensive defender, and to just slot in the way he did, it just oozed class from start to finish. And I said at the start, at the time, coming out of the ground, I don't think I've seen a better centre-back performance than that in the last 20 years from a Liverpool player. I just thought he was unbelievable. Anyone who got near him, he just took the ball off them, and he did it comfortably. It looked like a man playing with boys at times. It was frightening to watch, and it bodes so well for the future. And I know 75 million is a lot of money, but he's looking like a bargain. If I know it's only one game, and I'm not getting carried away and saying, "Oh, he is a bargain" and all that, but if that's the level he's going to play at, he's going to be worth every penny.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be very interesting to see how he gets on Sunday with better players. Trying to get the best of him, but for the game that he played in, the debut that he played, yeah, you just can't ask for any more. All the signs were there that he's going to be a fantastic acquisition.
Well, we'll come to the Shizzy game later. I know you're eager to get onto it, as am I. It seems like, do you know what? I know it's only been a couple of weeks since we played in the Premier League, but it feels like forever. I can't wait to get back to Anfield and get into that Premier League atmosphere. Don't get me wrong, the FA Cup special and I really loved it and that, but the league's our bread and butter, and I just want to get back to it. Do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, definitely. It does seem like so long since we played. But yeah, I really can't wait for this one.
Well, we've got to go on to the transfers now anyway. I'm going to throw a few names at you.
Yep.
We'll start with the ones that Liverpool players who could stay or go. And the obvious one at the moment is Sturridge. £30 million. What do you think of that?
I think they're asking a little bit much, but I've said that in the past, and they've managed to get it for players that I didn't think they would get anywhere near the money back that they've got for them.
I would be very surprised if they get 30 million for him.
I would, but I mean, I don't know if he goes to a West Ham, maybe even if Southampton might even look at him. They need a goal scorer now. They need something that's going to dig up.
30 million, no. The kind of teams that I could see taking a pot shot on him don't have 30 million to take the pot shot.
Yeah, no, I know what you're saying, but I mean, it's one of them. If he goes for 15, 20 million, someone's got a bargain if they can keep him fit. If he goes for 30 and they don't keep him fit, it's money wasted. I don't know. He'd be brilliant at your fanboys club, I think.
What, Watford?
Yeah, do you not think so?
No, I don't think Watford's issue is up front. I think it's defensive.
No, I don't think it's their issue, but that would be a massive proactive move and they could push them on to that next level.
As I say, make the 30 million, they need to spend it on defenders. They're not solid enough to be going out and buying a £30 million striker. But anyway, we'll come off Watford because you know what I'm like with Watford. I'll sit here and talk about Watford all day. I've got a proper man crush on them. I don't know why. And I know, do you know what? It's almost like they're kind of like Liverpool way in that they can't defend, but they attack really well. And they're just nice to watch. They play some lovely football. But anyway, the other one, Danny Ings. Rumours that he could be loaned out. What say you?
I think it'd be a good move for him and for us. I'd love Danny Ings to come back and make something of his Liverpool career after all the injuries. He's been so unlucky, and he fits the way that we play. His industry and everything fits the way that we play, but he needs game time. He's just not going to get it here.
See, I keep him, and the reason I keep him, unless we buy a striker. If we buy a striker in January, then loan Ings out. I'm fine with that. But other than that, we have the league, the Champions League, and the FA Cup. If Sturridge is being mooted for 30 million, that kind of tells me that he's going nowhere. But if, say, someone comes with the 30 million and then we do accept it, that leaves us with 3 strikers. And it's just, if we've only got 3 strikers, you don't want to be sending one of them on loan. You don't want to have Firmino and Solanke, and that's it. And I get that Salah can play there, and I get that Mane can play there and as well, but I like to have a proper centre forward to a degree. I know that Firmino's sort of a 9.5, as Klopp likes to say. And he kind of wants Solanke to be that as well. But I don't think we've got the depth to be sending players on loan if we're serious about selling Sturridge. If we're not serious about selling Sturridge, then yeah, by all means, send Ings on loan, get him some playing time.
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from on that front. I guess I think we will bring somebody in this window, and that'll be another reason why he ships out on loan. But that's just a gut feeling rather than anything that I've seen. So yeah, I mean, there's pros and cons for both of it. I think the fact that we've got so many players that can rotate and play in that role, with Salah and Mane possibly playing it as well, and the fact that we don't play with an out-and-out striker anyway, I wouldn't be overly worried with just having what we've got, even if Ings does go out on. I think it's more important that he gets playing time than he sits on the bench for us. And maybe, I mean, if Sturridge goes, can you even see Ings starting, even if we don't bring anyone in?
I could see him getting
in
minutes.
Any of the competitions.
I could see him getting minutes over three competitions for the rest of the season. I could see him getting minutes, yeah, definitely.
Is he in the Champions League squad?
Is he what?
Is he in the Champions League squad?
I'm not sure, to be perfectly honest, but I would imagine, you can add players. If he was to stay, I would imagine he'd be slotted into that squad. I think people forget how good Danny Ings is, or can be. And while I'd like to see him get game time, I'd like to see him get game time with us, first and foremost. I'm a big Danny Ings fan. But onto the hot button for me, Emre Can, stay or go?
I think he's got to go. The thing is, he churns out a performance every now and again, and you think he could be brilliant, but it's just his lack of a footballing brain that we've talked about a lot on here. Just cash in now, otherwise he's going to go in the summer for free anyway. I think he's already gone. I saw I noticed it must have been in the Everton game. He misplaced a pass and he got a bit of abuse off the crowd.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Zoomed at him and he was throwing it back at the crowd. He looks like a player who's already gone to me.
While he was wearing the armband as well. I was disgusted.
Yes, exactly.
With that.
That was a strange one that he given the armband. That points to the fact that he might stay. But yeah, like I say, when he's wearing the armband and shouting abuse back at the crowd, that's not a Liverpool player for me.
No, I want him gone. Other than the fact that if Klopp wants him to stay, then I back Klopp. But from what I've seen, no, I don't see the hype around him. I've made my views very clear on Emre Can, and I think he's kind of damned if he does and damned if he doesn't. If he stays, then basically people will turn around and say that he just wanted a higher contract, more money on his contract, and if he goes, then people will say that he wasn't up for the competition. So whichever way he goes, he's never going to be. He's never going to come out of this clean, if you like. He's kind of made his own bed now, and I'm with you. I think, see you later. If we can get anything, even like 10, 15 million in January, just take it.
Yeah.
Take it. Well, actually, to be honest, I know they do Bosmans and all that. Does it count for European players as well? Would a fee have to be agreed by a tribunal, or is it just see you later?
I think it's only on players of a certain age. I'm not sure whether we fall into that category or not. I think they have to be under 24, is it?
I think he must just miss
tribunal.
out, yeah. I'll have to look into that a little bit more, but I think you're right. I don't think it's. I think he'd just go, basically. I'm not sure about European players and that as well. But again, we'll look into that further. Now for the fun part, the gossip for the players who are coming in. So Naby Keita, are we going to see him in January?
No, I don't think so. I think they've made it abundantly clear, and I think a lot of the hype around that could be a smokescreen for somebody else coming in.
Oh, see, I think we might. And the reason I think we might is because Mr. Paul Joyce, who is someone who we all look to,
Yep.
he has said that there are talks ongoing. He's not saying that he's definitely coming or anything like that, but for the fact that the channels are open, would tell me that Liverpool are prepared to pay extra. Otherwise, why go and speak to them? And the fact that Leipzig are willing to speak to us would tell me that they obviously know they've got an unhappy asset on their hands, and why not get a few extra quid for it? So I think it could happen. I think it's down to, can Leipzig find a suitable alternative? And I think they might be able to. They're quite good at getting their business done. And they do kind of find players like Keita out of nowhere, other than like he was on the Red Bull conveyor belt, if you like. So yeah, I could see this one. I'll give it like a 7, 8 out of 10 chance of happening.
I'd go 7 out of 8 the other way, and it not happening. I understand what you're saying. Obviously, if the talks are open, then there's always a chance that Leipzig could change their mind. I just don't see it for me, especially with the figures that are being bandied about. If it's another 15 million, say, I've heard anything from 13 to 17. If it's another 15 million, and we get 15 million for Cam, that's 30 million pound you could throw at somebody who we know is unhappy somewhere else, like Alexis Sanchez. I'm not saying he'd come, but
I wonder how long that'd take.
Arsenal want 35 million for him apparently, and City aren't prepared to pay it for somebody that could get in for the free in the summer.
Yeah.
Why not? We've already got Keita coming in. Why not use the money to get Keita in early instead of using it for that? Why not throw it at something like that?
You honestly think that Sanchez won't just sit there and let his contract run down?
I don't think he will.
He will. I'm telling you now, he's a City player, mate. All the United fans are all delighted. They think he's going to Manchester United. He's not. He wants City.
Yeah.
He wants City. He's worked with Guardiola
I know he wants.
If he has to dig his heels in, then that's what he'll do. He's
quite
proven
possibly
it, and his attitude's proven it, because he only turns up for big games now. So he's proven
he does.
He can be like that. So he's gonna sob and he's gonna moan and he's gonna and the reason City are saying we're not paying 35 million is because they know they're gonna get him for free. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I understand that, but I mean, if I'm Sanchez and I'm sat there and somebody comes in with 35 million, he's getting 10% of that as a signing on fee.
He's not.
Now, I would assume he's
going
to get a massive.
He's City. Have you seen who City's owners are? You think they're not going to give him a signing on bonus?
No, of course they will. Yeah, but I don't know what he'll get in the summer. I would imagine it's probably more than that because they're not going to pay a fee for him at all. But I don't know. I can see him moving in this window. I'll be very surprised if he stays at Arsenal.
I'll be very surprised if he's not a City player. Put it that way. So that's two that we disagree with. I do like the transfer window, the way it throws up.
It's great.
It's what? What was that?
That's it. I love that we're on the same page this week.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah. Okay, so Goretzka. Leon Goretzka. What do you think?
I'd love it to happen.
He'd probably be my top target in terms of price, ability, fit in the team, experience, even at a young age. I always say to people, you know what you think Chan could be? Goretzka is.
He already is, yeah. Yeah, no, I agree with that. I think the problem here is similar to what we were just talking about with Sanchez. Is he already nailed on to go to Bayern Munich?
No, he's not. He's not nailed on at all.
Do you not think so?
No. And in terms of Goretzka, I'm talking Sanchez isn't nailed on to go Bayern Munich. In terms of Goretzka,
Goretzka nailed on to Bayern Munich.
No, I don't think he is, because it was Sports Bild that broke that story, and Bild have said from day one that he wants to be a Liverpool player. I don't know with this, but I do know that I trust Builder over Sports Builder. So I just know
I don't like. I don't particularly like either of them.
well, the Builder's a much more reliable source. Put it that way. It's a proper paper. It's just whereas the other ones just sort of like shoot, if you like. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, they put the name off the
yeah.
back of using before sport.
Yeah, if you're giving me them two, then yeah. And as much as I like to listen to Rafa Honigstein, I know I'm getting all these pronunciations terrible. I do apologise. German's not my language, but as much as I like to listen to him, I don't think he's got as much of an inside track as some people think. I've heard him get quite a bit wrong. I've heard him get some stuff right, but I've heard him get quite a bit wrong. And I think a lot of it, sometimes he'll put 2 and 2 together and get 5. And hopefully this is one of those occasions. If you...
He's the Gilles Balagate of German football.
Oh no, don't give him that. I've got a lot more time for Rafa than Guillaume Balagate. I mean, since Rafa left Liverpool, Guillaume Balagate, not a fan. I am not a fan at all.
Awful.
But yeah, basically, I don't know. I would sit well on the fence in this one, but I would give Liverpool fans hope in that I don't think it's done like some people think it is. And I think it makes more sense for him to come to Liverpool than it does for him to go to Bayern, personally. But we'll see.
I hope you're right.
Thomas Lemar?
Yeah, I'd have him in a heartbeat.
Well, yeah.
Especially if the stories of the cut price are right. I think this one's pretty much done, you know. Arsenal apparently have turned their attentions elsewhere.
Yeah, they're meant to have gone for Malcolm, aren't they?
Yeah. If he's not in this window, I think we'll get him in the summer. But I think he's coming.
Well, you know how I feel. Keita was my 100% numero uno top target. Goretzka's number 2 and Lamar's number 3. And that's not to say that Goretzka's a better player than Lamar or vice versa. I just think Goretzka's perfect for our midfield.
Yeah, it's what we...
What I like about Lamar is his flexibility. And I think he reminds me a bit of Juan Mata, in that he's more athletic. But,
with Mata with pace.
Yeah, but he's got the goals and assists, and he's got that ability to play in tight spaces, and he looks as comfortable out wide as he does inside. If anything, he looks more comfortable out wide, and I don't know. There's something about him that just reminds me of Juan Mata, and I think he'd be an excellent addition to our squad. I think he's got everything the Klopp covets, and yeah, I'm with you. I think it could be done. I was a bit worried about Arsenal for a time, and then they turned their attention. They went cheaper, as they always do. Basically, the plan was that it was supposed to be somewhere between 75 and 90 million for Thomas Lemar, and Arsenal were trying to get it down, and then Monaco were like, well, all right, well, we're not selling, and then this year, after saying we're not selling, we definitely don't sell in January and all that, they're now going 60 million. 60 maybe? Can we get 60? It's just turns into like the shittest auction ever. It's like a backwards auction. Like, we want 90, 75, 60. Do you know what I mean? I'm guessing like Liverpool are just going to rock up with a fiver at some point and just go, here we go.
Yeah.
I think it's.
I reckon they're going to put him on price drop TV. That's how they're going to sell him.
That's exactly what it's like, and it's outrageous for a player of his ability as well. And if we get him for 60 million, like, I think he'd be a bargain. I really do. As I say, I look around world football now. I don't see many more complete midfielders. Certainly not of his age. He does get stuck in. He's not the best tackler in the world, but as an attacking talent, there's not many people I'd want ahead of Thomas Lemar. I'll tell you that now. I know, yeah, we'll go on to him now because he sort of fits with the conversation. Nabil Fekir. Personally, I prefer Lemar for Liverpool, and I'm not saying that Lamar's a better player. I'm not saying he's not a better player. I'm just saying I think he's a better fit for us. And I get that Fekir he's great to watch, and he's got all the tricks, and he's probably, well, he is a better finisher than Lemar. But when you bring in the game intelligence, the flexibility, and the fit just for Liverpool, I think Thomas Lemar is the one.
Yeah, I agree with you completely. And if it was a choice between the two, I'd be going for Lemar. I think the only thing that he's not as good at is finishing, as you say. But I think that'll come. That's an age thing with him. I'm going to hold my hands up a little bit about Lemar as well. When we talked about him a couple of weeks ago, I said that I didn't think he was able to play in behind the strikers as effectively, and that he was too similar to Mane and Salah. Having done a little bit more research, I couldn't have been more wrong. He has definitely tied it in those tight spaces, as you mentioned on that show. He'd be a perfect fit for us. I was only talking to somebody the other day that was saying he doesn't think we should go for Lemar because he's just a left winger. We'd have to change our system. That's just completely wrong. That's just somebody who's not. That's somebody who's talking like I was a fortnight ago without knowing enough about the player. He is absolutely perfect for us, and one of 3 targets now that probably is perfect for us. There's a lot of options there in this window that are not normally there.
Yeah, fair play to you. It takes takes big man to hold their hands up and say they were wrong. I think we don't claim that we're going to get everything right on this podcast, but when we are wrong, we will hold our hands up. Like, I was wrong about Van Dijk. I said it earlier.
Yeah.
Didn't think he'd start the derby. You say about Lemar there, just you haven't seen enough of him. Yeah, it happens. I haven't watched much of him in France. The only reason I knew the type of player he was is because I watched a lot of him in the Champions League. I watched him against Spurs and I watched him against Man City, and he was very good over all 4 of those games.
Against decent Premier League sides as well.
He didn't look out of place at all. Speaking of Champions League players who don't look out of place, Aubameyang, what's your thoughts on?
Yes, again, it's something that we've touched on in the past. I think absolutely, just drop Firmino into the Coutinho position and put Aubameyang up front.
Who's that?
That's frightening. You got Salah on one side, Mane on the other, Aubameyang and Firmino feeding them.
Sorry,
Naby Keita coming in as well. Next season, we will be frightening.
I don't recognise the Coutinho position. That's a term that is no longer relevant at Liverpool, I'm afraid.
My apologies.
Aubameyang, yes.
And I think he's a player that's viable to get as well.
The only problem I've got with Aubameyang is this: his temperament. He's not going to sit on the bench. He's going to want to play every game, and I don't know if we're going to be playing like a 4-man attack. I think Klopp wants to move away from that. I think he wants to go to the 4-3-3. I've said it time and time again. I think we're a better football team when we play 4-3-3. I think we will take our game to the next level without Philippe Coutinho. And again, I will continue to say it's nothing against Coutinho. It's just sometimes it's horses for courses. And we are more suited to a 4-3-3. It's the players around us and around him that mean we're more suited, or around where he was here. We're more suited to a 4-3-3, and we're more suited to a say like a 3-4-1-2 if you like, or a 3-5-2, whatever you want. There's a lot of different combinations, 5 at the back, whatever you want. But in all of them, I think we're more suited without Coutinho. I know it's not a popular opinion, and I know a lot of people think I'm saying it because I'm being biased, but as you can back me up, I've been saying it for like over a year now. I just think the
Yeah,
ball gets stuck with him at times, and he is phenomenal, and he can win you the game on his own. But I just don't think he suits the Klopp way. And
yeah. You've hit the nail on the head there. Coutinho is a player who can win a game on his own. He can change it in a split second. But as part of a team and the way we play and the speed that we play, which is when we play our best football, he slows the game down. And you're right to say it's taking nothing away from him as a player. He is a phenomenal player individually, but we are a better team without him, and that's been proven as well this season.
One of the few games that I would say that wasn't true, like not to belittle my own statement, but against Brighton and Hove Albion, we didn't slow anything down, and Coutinho was vital in the counter attack. So credit where it's due, but I think that was more to do with the way the opposition played, and just we were all on it. And when we're all on it, that front four, when it's on it, is just frightening. And we're not going to see that again, and that's a shame. From a purely sort of what's the word I'm looking for? Aesthetic point of view. But in terms of being able to win games going forward, I'm not that worried. Really not.
No.
I don't understand how some people, the world's caving in and all that. It's really not, mate. This is one of the most exciting times to be a Liverpool fan in my lifetime.
Yeah.
We've just spent £75 million on a defender. Do you know what I mean? This is outrageous.
I think the money we've got for Coutinho is far more important that we use that in the areas that we need to use it than Coutinho was to the side, if that makes sense.
So Aubameyang, don't think he's the perfect fit when it comes to a squad. In terms of a team, yes, definitely, I would be all over that. But in terms of tactically and squad, I just don't think he's the right fit, and I think for what we're going to have to pay for him, it's a pass for me. I 100% behind him as a player, and I think he's great, but I just think, would he work with Firmino? Would Firmino dropping into that number 10 role work? And I have my doubts. And again, if he does drop into that number 10, it means we've only got two in midfield. Yeah.
But if that two next season is Keita and Goretzka, then we can live with that.
You can live with it, but then if you want Thomas Lemar as well, then Aubameyang's not coming. And I'd rather have Lemar.
No.
I'd rather have Lemar.
That's where the rotation comes in. And if Klopp sits him down and talks to him and explains that to him, as he will, if he does become a viable option, then the decision will be made on it.
He doesn't.
If he's willing to be part of a squad, then I think he'll come back. I think you're probably right. If he's not willing to be part of the squad, then it's just a non-starter.
He doesn't strike me as that kind of player who'll say, yeah, I'm happy sitting on the bench a couple of games, and he wants to be out there. He wants to score goals, and more credit to him for that. It's just he's not the right fit at the right time for Liverpool as far as I'm concerned, and it kills me to say that because I've gone backwards and forwards on Aubameyang, as you know. Talent-wise, he's everything you want in a striker, and I didn't always believe that, but the more I watched and the more I took into consideration, he's special. But as I say, it's a no from me, and I think he'll go to China anyway. I think he'll go and get his payday. Anyway,
You think so?
Yeah. Anyway, Mahrez.
Is that not changed over there in China, but as far as what they're allowed to spend on wages and transfer activity?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
I think bringing something in so much percentage of the the starting 11 has to be Chinese.
Yeah, but you can still spend ridiculous amounts of money on wages. I think Tevez has only just stopped earning.
Yeah, I think it's only one player a season now.
Yeah, and Aubameyang can be that player.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, moving on. Mahrez. What's your take
Um,
on him? Yes, no, fit, not fit.
it was a yes when the name first got banded around, but I think with the other players that we're looking at now, I think if we do go for Mahrez, it's settling somewhat. I like him as a good player. I don't know if he'd muck in a Klopp way. He'd certainly offer you goals and assists, but does he offer enough? I'm not sure.
For me,
He seems to cut price one. If we get him at 50 million, it'll be because he's 50 million and because we didn't get our first priorities.
for me, he'll be an excellent player for someone. He's somewhat of a one-trick pony, and that's not to say that he only has one trick in terms of his skill. Far from it. He's a street footballer. He wants to run at people. He wants to go at them constantly. He doesn't want to keep the ball moving. He wants to make things happen, and that's why he's been so successful at Leicester, because they will allow him to just do that. Especially playing counter-attacking football. For me, he doesn't have the intelligence and flexibility to play in the type of system that I believe Klopp would want him to play in. And if we didn't have Salah, then yeah, in a heartbeat. But we do have Salah, and we don't need Mahrez. Mahrez is just a poor man's Salah, as far as I'm concerned. He's very good at what he does, and that's in no way a knock on him, because Salah's just outrageous. But there's only one place I can see Mahrez playing, and that's on the right hand side. So unless you've got something planned, I won't write it out 100%, because I kind of wrote off Salah coming to Liverpool again. We'll hold our hands up and say these things, and I didn't do it on the podcast because it was long before we started the podcast. But I kind of wrote off the idea of Salah coming, not because he was a Chelsea player and not because I didn't rate him, but because he played on the right hand side, and that's where Mane played, and Mane was playing at a very high level. So I thought, well, why do we need him? And I dismissed it out of hand, and it wasn't until I actually thought about it and thought, well, maybe he's going to move Mane over. Maybe Salah will play on the left. You know, these are things to take into consideration. So I won't dismiss it out of hand. And if he can fit Mahrez, Mane and Salah in the same team, as well as Firmino, that's just... I wouldn't want to face that. I'll say that now. Just...
Get any difference or no?
Well, they're 4 street footballers who've... Like, they've literally come from the streets, they've worked their way up, they've battled through everything, and they just want to embarrass you. They just want to run at you constantly. They just want to beat you for 90 minutes. It's frightening. If Mahrez wants to come as a squad player, then yeah, I will sign him 100 times out of 100, because if you can just think of, you start with Mahrez and then Salah comes off the bench, or you start with Salah and then Mahrez comes off the bench. God help that left back. I just got an image of the left back rocking backwards and forwards in a padded cell, just like, or every now and then, just like he's at home in bed with his wife, and he just goes, no, not again.
For like a week before the fixture.
Honestly, they would give any left back in the world nightmares, them two. And yeah, but as I say, you've got to look at the whole thing, and the reason it's a no for me, only, and this is the only reason, is because I think Mahrez is a bit one-dimensional. Now, I could be wrong about that. He could end up being a number 10, and he could end up being a great player, but from what I've seen, it's kind of if it ain't broke, don't fix it, Ark and Robin almost type, cut in from the right. It's just kind of, that's his MO, and it works for him. So I think he'd be better suited to Chelsea, personally. I think him on one side and Hazard on the other would be frightening. And
you think Hazard? know it's not. I know it's a Liverpool podcast, but do you think Hazard will stay at Chelsea now?
Long term, no. But I don't think he's going anywhere in January.
No, not in January in the
No.
summer.
End of the season, I think Real Madrid will be coming in for him. I don't think that's a secret. I think Real Madrid are coming to a point now where they need to reload. And I think I would like to give myself some credit because I think this is the season where we see Ronaldo drop off a cliff. And four goals in La Liga would certainly suggest that.
That's incredibly low rate. It's funny you should mention it. It came up on my memories on Facebook from 2013 when at the time he was up obviously again for the Ballon d'Or and he had scored 65 goals in 56 games for both club and country.
Yeah, it's ridiculous what he's done, and you can't take away from it. And I will say this for him, he has fallen off a cliff, and I don't think he'll be able to get back to anywhere near the level that he was. But no. I am a Messi fan. I put Messi over Ronaldo all day, every day. And last year, Cristiano Ronaldo was better than Messi. And if that's the last season that he is better than Messi, then so be it. But he definitely was, because he carried Real Madrid to that European Cup. Anyway, as you say, Liverpool podcast. Strootman.
Have not. We've been linked to a Strootman.
Yeah, we have. But who haven't we been linked with? For me personally, I like him. I think he's a very good player, but again, I don't think he's a club player. I think he's too defensive minded. He's not box to box. He hasn't got goals and assists in him really at a regular rate. Wrong course for this course.
Yeah, I think even without bringing anybody else in, when we've got Keita coming in, we've got Oxlade-Chamberlain who's changing defence into attack very quickly at the moment. He's not a player that we need anyway.
Okay, Jean-Michel Seri, not Jean-Michel Ferry.
Are you sure he's not coming back?
If he has, he's changed colour.
Not a player I know an awful lot about, so I'll let you take the lead on this one.
He's not a player I know an awful lot about, to be honest. I know he's like a compact unit, like Keita. He's strong. He's a very good passer of the ball, and he's got an engine on him. I think he'd fit in what we do. I think it's a maybe, but I don't think so. If I was pushed, I'd say. I think he'll be a good player for someone, though.
Yeah, still at Nice at the moment, and approaching his prime years. You'd think he would have snapped up by somebody already if he's good enough to be at the top.
Is he? How old is he now?
Hang on a minute. 26.
Yeah, I was just I think he came to my attention when he was about 24, 25. Yeah, as I say, I've seen him play. I just haven't seen anywhere near enough where I'd be comfortable in saying too much about him. You know, yeah, I'm not one of them people who'll see someone play one game and then tell you everything about what they are and what they're not. Because I remember watching Phil Neville outplay Patrick Vieira. That was it. That was it on the one game scouting for me.
So you wouldn't have signed Stuart Downing for 20 million after watching YouTube clips, no?
Not so much, no.
That was a shocker, that.
Yeah. Danny Ceballos. I'm not sure. Ceballos, I suppose, as some people call him, but I believe the double L in Spanish is a Y sound. So
this is
let's just say Danny.
The kid at Real Madrid.
Yeah, Danny, kid at Real Madrid, used to play for Real Betis.
Yes, I like him. I haven't seen enough of him to comment too much, but I like him and I like what people are saying about him.
I've seen a bit of him.
He'd be a good signing. At 22, I think he'd be a very, very good signing. But I don't know if they'll be looking to move him on if Real Madrid are going to be changing things around and looking sort of towards the next 5 or 6 years, I think he might be somebody that they decide to build things around.
Well, I've seen a bit of him, and the first thing I'd say is he wants to leave Real Madrid because I believe he had certain, not assurances, but it was kind of made out that he would get quite a bit of game time, and he hasn't been given the opportunity at all to show anything. Very Isco type player.
Yeah.
Outrageous on the ball. Outrageous seems to be my word of the day. I do apologise. I've used it about 5 times, but he's very good on the ball. Scores goals. Could be if you are looking for a cheap sort of attacking midfield, just someone who's going to inject a bit of pace into the game, run at people, and a project. But someone who's got the raw potential to be something quite special, then yeah. And he strikes me as a bit of a Moneyball Klopp-esque typing signing. So I'm in on this one. Yeah, I'm buying this one.
If you're going to... sorry, go on.
No, I'm just saying I'm buying this one.
Yeah. I think the move makes complete sense. And again, as you say there, from a Moneyball point of view, it makes sense as well. And if you're going to liken him to a player like Isco already, yeah, we could do a lot worse than that.
Well, at this, listen, he's not Isco, but then Isco wasn't Isco until he was Isco. Do you know what I mean? So,
yeah.
But the thing with Real Madrid is they seem to be able to pick out these young, talented players within their division who it takes a while for them to break through. And some of them, they give them a chance to, and some of them they don't. Like, Asensio now is like a very special player. And he's not getting... He's not reaching the ability that he's got at Real Madrid. Like, he shows flashes, but given the ability that he's got, you would expect to see more from him. And I think that's down to Madrid, to be perfectly honest. I think they're going backwards, and they're going backwards at a rate of knots as well, despite the quality that they've got in their team. And it's like, to me point, Asensio, Isco, and I think Ceballos is just another one in a long list of the kind of talented, technically gifted players that go to Real Madrid and, yeah, as you say, get stockpiled. And I think we could do a lot worse. Rakitic.
It's another one where at the time when we were first mentioned being interested in him, I would have flown at it. I like him. I think he's a good player. But I think we're now being linked with better players at a better age that we're more likely to be going for. So I don't think this is one that I'll be looking at now.
I don't know about better players. I rate Rakitic very, very highly. I have done since he played for Sevilla. He's pretty much everything you want in an attacking midfielder. Wouldn't go as far as say box to box, but he certainly gets stuck in. I think he'd be a welcome addition to any team in the world. That's how highly I rate him. But as you say, given age and other factors and the type of players that we're being linked with, who probably fit what we're about a little bit more, he's one I'd pass on. But if he turned up at Liverpool tomorrow, he's also one I'd be giddy about. So, make of that contradiction what you will.
Yeah, I get that. If we're not trying to replace the player himself, but if we're trying to replace what Coutinho gave us in regards to assists and goals, I think Rakitic is going to give you the assists, not necessarily the goals. His goal return's not that good. I don't think off the top of my head.
Oh, he can hit a ball. He can certainly hit a
He
ball.
can hit one.
And
I just don't
I
think he gets
think he'd
goals.
probably get more goals playing in the type of system that Klopp plays, funnily enough. Because if you watched at Sevilla, they played more of a gung-ho attacking brand of football. And obviously when you go to Barcelona, you have to play a certain way. And Rakitic is good enough to do it, and he's looked good doing it as well, but I don't think it's him. So it'd be an interesting one. But yeah, as I say, going to be a bit contradictory on that one. Lanzini, we're going to fall out here, I think.
Possibly. I like Lanzini. I think he's a good player. I think he's possibly close to the level that he should be at already, though, in terms of where he's playing club-wise. He'll be a good player somewhere. I don't think he's quite good enough.
Agreed.
For us.
I thought you were going to get on this bandwagon of Lanzini's the next great thing. I'm not seeing it myself. I'm really not. I think the thing with Lanzini is he is a good player, and he's the type of player that we don't have many of in this league. So he's the kind of player that when he does things that other players are doing around the world consistently, if he does it a couple of times in this league, people go, "Oh, that's good." They don't get to see that very often. Whereas in Spain, they just go, "Yeah, we've got like 50 of them."
Yeah, definitely, and we do only see it in little bits and pieces as well. Like if they're involved in a decent game, we might catch him on Match of the Day, and we might see little bits and pieces of him. But I think if you supported that club, I think if he came here or you supported the club that he's playing for, he'd probably come in the inconsistent category, which is not something that we're looking at signing. He's either brilliant or you can't even remember whether he played that week.
I think for me, he's not someone I'd be like, oh God, I don't want him. But he's just, I think he's the kind of signing we would have made in the past, rather than the kind of. I think we've moved up a level. I really do, and I think we've learned from our mistakes.
Definitely. I mean, the whole Van Dijk deal tells you that. The whole Navigator deal tells you that we're looking at a different calibre of player now than we have done for the last 25 years. So, yeah, let's just move on from those kind of teams and hope that we can go for something a bit better.
Just to move on to well, before we move on to goalkeepers, let's have the comedy section of the transfer portion. Antoine Griezmann.
Strangely, came into 7-4, I believe, to come to Liverpool.
When did that happen?
During the week. A couple of days ago.
He came into 7-2.
Maybe it was 7-2.
7-4.
But anyway, we were the favourites to sign him anyway.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Yeah, I would love to have him, of course I would. Who wouldn't? But can I see him coming here? No, not really.
No, I can't see him coming here either. I've said, and I've been a big fan of Antoine Griezmann, and I don't care what people are saying about this season. You know, if you've seen this kid play, you know what he's about. Pace, skill, two-footed, goal scorer, brings other people into the play, never stops running. Basically, just a very quick version of Roberto Firmino.
Yeah, it's a good comparison, actually.
And the thing is, though, we've got Roberto Firmino. So, I don't see a place for him. I know he can play off the wing. I think that's where Barcelona want to play him. Yeah, but another thing, why the hell are Barcelona? This is the thing that winds me up about teams like Barcelona and Real Madrid. Stockpiling talent. You look at Man City, and fair enough, they've got Aguero and Jesus, but Jesus is young and is being brought through. Antoine Griezmann is a world-class footballer. you've also got in that team Suarez, Messi, and Dembele, who's on the verge of being a world-class footballer. Why do you need Griezmann? It's just an
I
embarrassment
know.
to riches. And
Did you hear the Did you hear the story about Klopp apparently being involved in that?
oh yeah, about Dembele.
Yeah, about
Yeah,
saying that there's no way that they're getting Coutinho, so put your asking price up, and then sold them Coutinho. And apparently, off the back of that, that's one of the reasons why our price came in so much to sign Griezmann, because they couldn't afford to sign all three, which meant that we could then swoop in.
brilliant, made up. I listen. I used I
Outstanding,
used to
isn't it?
like I used to like Barcelona, and I used to like them because they were a protest club in some way. Not in that they protested against Barcelona, but they were a protest club and they protested about being Catalan in Spain. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm still very much on their side in terms of the politics of them wanting to be a free and independent state. They have every right to do that. But in terms of football, they've just become Real Madrid. They've become that which
Yeah,
they hated. They've become
sad,
that
isn't it?
which they always said they were better than. And it really is. It breaks your heart. As someone who, I was never a Barcelona fan, but I did prefer them to Real Madrid, and now they're just exactly the same. They use the same underhand tricks. They're both trying to buy titles.
Yeah,
The
and both the way to sign players as well.
the Johan Cruyff way of Barcelona's gone.
Yeah,
Ernesto Valverde is not a Barcelona manager in the truest sense of the word. And it's just really sad to see a club that when they got everything right and did it the right way, and people go, oh yeah, but they had the highest wage budget in the world. Yeah, from young players that they brought through, made world class and kept. Do you know what I mean?
yeah, they were a pleasure to watch at the time, weren't they?
Oh, they were a joy. Xavi, Iniesta, Messi, all lads, PK, Puyol, they all came through and they did it the right way. Now, who's coming through the Barcelona academy now? Who's you know who's there that's going to get the chance to get in ahead of Suarez, to get in ahead of Dembele, to get in ahead of Griezmann when he comes. They're just turning their back on everything that they are and everything that they've done, and it's just so sad to watch. From like an informed football fan, and I've got no respect for them whatsoever. Um, so anyway, on to goalkeepers. I'm going to give you the four names that we've been linked with, and I want you to put them in order of who you'd want.
Okay.
Allison, Donnarumma, Oblak, Butland.
Oblak, Butland, Allison, Donnarumma.
Donnarumma last.
Yeah,
Why?
overrated. Overrated for me.
Overrated. Oh, behave.
I knew you weren't going to agree
Behave
with me on that.
yourself. He's overrated. He's 10 times the keeper that Jack Butland is. I'm
Oh, I like Jack
sorry.
Butland.
I'm sorry. You're talking about the
I didn't
next.
realise. I didn't realise he was only 18.
Mate, he's the next Gigi Buffon. You only have to look at him. It's like watching Buffon. Although, you know, when you get those people and they go, he's the next this and he's the next that. I hate all that. But he is. He's every bit Buffon.
I'll have to bow to your better knowledge on him then.
Mate,
But
I'm telling you now, and he'll end up at Man United, and it kills me. De Gea will go to
oh,
Real
oh,
Madrid.
don't.
Donnarumma will go to Man United. He's got the same agents as Pogba. He's got the same agents as Ibrahimovic. We should be there banging the door. It was my mate Steve who said this, and I agree with him totally. We should be there banging the door down at AC Milan and just saying to Donnarumma, what you want? What you want? Because he's going to be the best goalkeeper in the world in 3 to 5 years, and he's going to be the best goalkeeper from then on for the next 10 years. And it's
So, I've obviously seen a lot more of him than me. So, yeah, I'm willing to bow to your better knowledge on the player then.
no fair
I
enough.
have
I get why people say
18
he's
years
overrated,
old.
and he hasn't got the best attitude in the world. I'll give you that. But that level of talent, he's just so special. For me, it'd be Donnarumma, just for the simple fact. I don't think he's a better keeper than Oblak, but he sorts out Liverpool's goalkeeping for the next 10 years if you get him.
Yeah.
So I go Donnarumma, Oblak. Haven't seen enough of Alisson, so I'll put the other two joint third. I do like Butland. I think he's one of the top goalkeepers in this country. I think he'd be a massive step up from Mignolet. I still say that Karius is going to be a good goalkeeper, and I still say that people have not given him anywhere near enough time to prove himself. And hopefully he does, and we don't need to worry about a goalkeeper, but we still need to replace Mignolet. And I don't know if you saw my post the other day on the site, but it basically said Liverpool have been making the same mistake for the last 20 years in terms of goalkeepers. And Guardiola comes into Manchester City, buys Bravo, then sees Bravo's not good enough. Well, first of all, he looks at Joe Hart and goes, not good enough. Correct. Off he goes, and then proves Guardiola right that he isn't good enough. Then he brings in Bravo, and instead of just, when it doesn't work out, just going, oh, well, he hasn't had time and we need to give him he goes, all right, well, you can be the backup goalkeeper. We'll get rid of Caballero, and we'll bring in this Ederson Moraes, and you can fight for the number one spot. Ederson Moraes just goes, yeah, that's mine. I'm a far better goalkeeper now. And Bravo now looks like a good backup.
Yeah.
That's how it's done.
Yeah.
We're not ruthless enough. We're just not ruthless enough. And to be honest with you, when I say we're not ruthless enough, I wouldn't even consider it ruthless to get rid of Mignolet, because he's had chance after chance after chance after chance after chance, and I could go on and on and on and on and on. And how many times, like the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. He's not going to change. That's who he is. That's what he is. He's not good enough. You look at the goalkeepers around him: De Gea, Courtois, Lloris. Like, Lloris is a bit of a mere artist at times, but he's still a far better goalkeeper than Mignolet. Cech's still, at 33, a better goalkeeper than Mignolet. It's just not. Yeah. It's not good enough. And until we go into a season with a proven goalkeeper, we're going to keep doing the same thing over and over and over again, and we're going to keep making the same mistakes over and over and over again. And it's just so frustrating that everyone can see it, except the club.
Yeah, it's hard to argue with anything you're saying. The only thing I would say is, if we keep Karius then as the number 2 after getting rid of Mignolet, the age of the keepers that we're talking about bringing in aren't of an age where Karius is then going to take over from them. They're going to be similar age to what he is now. I mean, I've just been looking at Donnarumma because I didn't know enough about him when you brought the subject up, but at 18 years old, he's played 80 times already for Milan.
Yeah.
He played 30 times when he was 16.
He's Italy's number 1.
That's crazy.
Everyone knows he's Italy's number 1. Buffon gets the shirt because it's like it was a farewell tour. Everybody knows that Donnarumma is Italy's number 1 in waiting. If you're Italy's number 1 and it's not even a contest, you're a good goalkeeper. Because there's one thing Italy will always do, and it's produce world-class goalkeepers.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, if we sign any of those 4, I can see both of our keepers leaving the club.
See, I want to keep Karius.
I know you do, but how old's Karius now? 24?
I don't care how old he is. He hasn't been given a fair crack at Liverpool.
But he's never going to get a fair crack if we sign any of these.
No, but the thing is, though, as a backup goalkeeper, and he's shown in the cups, he's still our cup goalkeeper now, and rightfully so, because he's been playing really well. And people.
I'd be happy with that, but would he be happy with that?
Well, that's up to him. And if he's really not happy with it, get better.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but at some point you just have to go, we're a big club. If you're not up to us, I'm sorry, we're not a charity.
That's the attitude we've got to start having.
This is not a nursery. We're not here to hold your hand. You're either good enough or you're not. We will give you the opportunity to show whether you're good enough. We will give you a season or 2, depending on how many games that you play. But we're not like, I don't know, like Man United in some senses where we just go, yeah, we don't like you. Like what Man United have done to Luke Shaw, you could just never see Klopp doing that to any player.
No.
And we're not that. So you will get a fair crack at the whip at Liverpool, but at the same time, as with any job, if you're not capable of doing the job, there's only so long that you'll be employed for.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah,
okay. Well, we're going massively over time here, but we've got so
just
much
check
to
that.
cover.
So
Yeah, we've got so much to cover. It's just one of them things that people will just have to listen to it in 3 parts. So, okay, next game, Manchester City. Well, what's your take? Do you fancy it? Are you a bit apprehensive? What?
no, I fancy it. And I mentioned it a couple of weeks ago. I think it's the perfect time to play them. There's been a little bit of a break from playing in the Premier League, which won't suit them because it might have halted the progress a little bit. The last game that they played in the Premier League, they were very lucky to come out and win it. They've scored a lot of goals in the last 5 minutes, and I think that'll be drilled into our players that we've got to be concentrating to the end. We should be in every game, but in this game especially. I just think we're playing well at the moment, and the fact that Coutinho obviously is not there now and won't be playing in this game is going to be a plus point for us because it means we can play pure pace to get at them. They're an outstanding world-class footballing side. We're going to have to respect that. But on the break, we can beat them. And Klopp was right in what he said in his press conference. Yeah, Man City are very, very good and they're full of world-class players. But they play a certain way and it can be defended against. And we now possibly have the defence to be able to do that.
Well, I've got 2 words for you. Sadio Mane. If you don't think that he's going to be pumped up for this game, he's gone through a hard time recently at Liverpool, and I respect the way he's dealt with certain things. I especially respect the fact that he was clearly ill and still playing. I respect the fact that he come off a flight to Ghana and plays in a Merseyside derby. I just think this is retribution for him. This is his opportunity to go there and go, listen, whether it's a red card or not, I never meant to boot that lad in the head, and I feel really bad about it, but I also feel really bad about the fact that I let my team down and that I didn't get a chance to show what I'm about, and you better believe I'm going to be showing exactly what I'm about at Anfield, and I think he's going to have an absolute stormer of a game. He'll go 1 or 2 basically to get sent off again within 5 minutes, or he'll be man of the match. That's for me. And right up until the sending off, we were matching them in every department. They had defensive issues, we had defensive issues. They highlighted ours with the simple through ball. Oh my God, that goal was so poor. I mean, just don't get me wrong, Aguero took it brilliantly, but the defending, like, you couldn't even call it schoolboy, because I've seen schoolboys defend better than that. Then when we went down to 10 men, he's just simply overloaded us with fullbacks playing like wingers, picking out cross after cross after cross. Very un-City-like, actually, the way they played against us. They hadn't really worked it out yet, the way they went on to, and that's credit to Guardiola as well, to beat Liverpool 5-0 and then to change the system, because he actually played 3 at the back, and since then obviously he's gone to this 4 with inverted wing backs, and it's going to be a completely different game. What is there anyone that you sort of highlight as someone we've got to stop, or is it the whole team, or what?
I think it's the whole team. I think it's very dangerous just to highlight one player in that team. You could try and cut off the supply line through De Bruyne, but then you've got so many other players that can do similar jobs or do the job in a different way. I think just closing down one of the outlets would be a massive mistake. We've just got to defend well as a unit, and we've got to defend all of the attributes that they've got. I think you're right about the last game. In fact, I'd go as far as to say we were the better side before the sending off. And with that and their record coming to Anfield, I'm really, really up for this as a supporter, and the players are going to be really, really up for it as well. I think we've got something to prove. City are a very good side, but they are beatable.
Yeah, I think this game will be much tighter. I think both teams look much better defensively, but I would still say that both teams will probably concede. Given the contrast between the defensive and attacking talents, you're gonna take the attack in this game. The key to stopping City for me is twofold. First of all, you have to break up that little box that they play in, and you'll have heard me talk about this box time and time and time again. But basically what happens is the two centre-backs sit in front of the goalkeeper, as they should, and then the left-back and the right-back go slightly in front, and they create this box, and then Fernandinho drops into the box and links the defence to the midfield, or sometimes the defence to the attack. You can't let them get comfortable there. If you do, they'll get into a rhythm, and once they get into a rhythm, well, they showed against Tottenham exactly what happens when you let them get in a rhythm, regardless of who they're playing. And Tottenham are a good defensive team as well, by the way. You can't let them get in that rhythm, so you've got to stop that. And I agree with you, there's not one player. If you try and overload a player or man mark or whatever with City, they're too clever. They'll just run him out of the equation. You just have to be disciplined and make sure you're not shirt tight, because that's the other thing they love to do. You need to watch the channels, but you'll hear people screaming, get shirt tight, get shirt tight, get shirt tight. The worst thing you can do against a truly top side is get shirt tight, because they'll just turn you. They'll turn you. They'll lay it off into channels. They'll come up with 100 different ways of beating you when you're shirt tight. But if you just a little step off and you give yourself that room where they can't turn and they have to lay the ball off, or City play on the half turn. They do it better than anyone in the Premier League. If you get shirt tight to someone who plays on the half turn, you're not going to see them again. You're either going to have to foul them or they're going to go past you. And we've got to be disciplined defensively, and we've got to realise that any mistakes that we make, they can exploit. And they've got to realise exactly the same. And that's why it's going to be such an entertaining game of football. And because it's so difficult to stop both of these teams, I don't think it's going to be the high-scoring affair that people believe. I won't give my prediction yet, because I'll leave that for later when we come to do the predictions, which will have to be pretty quick. But I think obviously as De Bruyne goes, City goes. So if there's one player who you hope has a bad game, it's De Bruyne. But as you say, even if he does, they've still got so much. But he's the key to everything. Him and Fernandinho for me are the key. And I wouldn't man mark either of them, but I would certainly pay closer attention to them.
Yeah. I think you're talking about that box there. They won't have played anyone apart from that first half in the last game that we played against. They won't have played anyone who's as good at pressing and counter-pressing as we are. So I hope that right from the off, we can break that side of their game down. Like if you sit, it won't sit because it'll be all over the place anyway. But if Firmino, when they've got the ball, drops into to cut off that Fernandinho early supply line, and then you've got, I think it's going to be important who we play in the two positions in midfield, or three positions in midfield, depending on which way he goes, because them playing so quickly on the half turn. I think if you play Canning there, he's going to get caught on that quite a lot, because he does tend to get too touch tight. He wants to manhandle people.
Agreed.
And he's just going to give away free kick after free kick by manhandling, or the game's just going to bypass you.
Yeah, completely agree. Firmino's the key for me. He, as you say, the counter press. I see it's a game where I think Lallana has to play as well. I think Lallana and Firmino are built for this game. And I would play the two of them. I would make sure.
Yeah, if he's fit enough, yeah, I agree.
And I watched City against Palace, and two things struck me. First of all, De Bruyne had a bad game, which you never get to say. And when I say a bad game, I mean by his standards. And second of all, they counter-pressed. More so in the second half. They sort of sat back in the first half, but in the second half they counter-pressed and they got among City, and City did not like it. Even Benteke and Zaha were causing them problems, and we can do that. And I just don't think this game's as straightforward as some people think it will be. And I actually, it's hard to fancy us against a team that are on the kind of form that they're on. And I do try and be, what's the word I'm looking for? Realistic. But something about it, I don't know. It's got that feeling. Anyway, we'll move on to predictions because I want to give me Liverpool prediction. But we'll wait, obviously, because we're going to do Chelsea versus Leicester. We'll have to do these quick as well. It's like
2-1 Chelsea.
2-1 Chelsea. I will say 2-2. Crystal Palace Burnley.
0-0.
0-0. I'll say 1-0 Palace. Huddersfield West Ham.
1-0 Huddersfield.
1-1. Newcastle Swansea.
1-0 Newcastle.
I'll go with that 1-0. Yeah. Watford against Southampton.
4-1 Watford.
Oh, are they in trouble? Are Southampton in trouble?
Well, I'm gonna say every week.
Yeah, I'll go with the man crush. I'll say 2-1 Watford. West Brom against Brighton and Hove Albion.
1 apiece.
2-1 West Brom. Tottenham Everton.
3-1 Tottenham.
I don't even know with this one. I'll say 2-0 Tottenham. Although the Turkish Harry Kane is set to make his debut, isn't he? That's what they call him, the Turkish Harry Kane.
Oh, it's shocking. Well, with that Fab Four that they've got now, I'm sure that Tottenham are quaking.
Yeah. Did you see me post on it about the thingy?
I did.
Oh my God! It was Football Whispers again. Listen, they do some fantastic stuff, but please do not compare a lad who's the seventh highest goal scorer in Turkey with Romelu Lukaku, Harry Kane and Sergio Aguero. There is no need for that comparison to ever be made. And it's like, on one of the lines it says, okay, the Premier League is a better league than Turkey. No shit!
Yeah, so I had to read a bit after you put your post up.
You don't say. That was the most ridiculously poor piece of journalism, and I call it that very lightly. The last time, well, you remember the last time I called them out, don't you? It was Spartak Moscow were going to win our group. I was like, no, they're not. Yeah. And then we beat them 7-0. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, yeah, watch out for Spartak, though. Bournemouth against Arsenal.
Arsenal 2-1.
2-2. Bournemouth for good at home. I think they're due a result, and I think Arsenal's head might be a little bit down. And they did play midweek as well. So there's a couple of reasons for you. The head's down, obviously, because of Sanchez. Liverpool against Man City.
Liverpool 2, Man City 1.
I will agree. And you know what? It's either going to be 2-1 or 2-2. But I just think... Yeah. I don't... Listen, I take nothing away from Man City. They are a better side than us. That is, for me, not a debate. But I just get the feeling that they're due a loss. They were lucky against Crystal Palace to some degree. There's a reason. There's a reason why it's so difficult to go through a league season unbeaten. And if they're being honest, there must be a couple of City fans who've got this one circled on their calendar as we need to get by this one. If we get by this one, then we can start really, thinking about that unbeaten season, because we're the team that on paper, tactically, are the ones that can give them the most bother. Whether we will or not is up for debate, but whether we are, like, you saw what they did to Chelsea. Chelsea are not a problem for them. You've seen what they did to Tottenham and Man United. At no point in any of those games were they ever anything but the better team. We're the only team, albeit for like half an hour, just over, who've actually hung with them.
Yeah.
And we are built to cause them problems. We're exactly the kind of team they don't want to see. Now, they'll probably come out and beat us 5-0 again now because we've given all that talk. But and finally, Manchester United against Stoke.
Man United 1-0. I am going to voice Ricard's prediction.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's just your prediction every week. Do you know what though? This time, I think I'll go with you because I think they're obviously a better team, and you don't know what you're going to get from Stoke. No manager. Have they employed a new manager yet?
Not that I've seen.
It's a caretaker job.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Well, you don't know how they're going to react, do you? So, anyway, we've run on quite a bit this week, but we did have a hell of a lot to cover, and obviously the time in between the Everton game and that, it hasn't made it ideal. So thank you very much for your time, Chris, and I will speak to you soon, mate.
Yeah.
Is there anything you want to say to the listeners before you get off?
No, nothing. Just enjoy the game on Sunday. I think it'll be a fantastic game for neutrals as well, but for us, it's going to be a nail-biting one. Just try and enjoy it if you can.
No worries. All right, mate. Take it easy. Speak to you soon.
Speak soon, mate.
So that's another one done for the week. I'd like to thank my co-host Chris, and of course you at home for listening. Don't just listen though, get involved. The Facebook group is Over the Pool and Far Away. We've now got over 150 members, which, considering we started in October and this is the only advertising that we've done, is pretty amazing. So thank you to everyone. I'd just like to reiterate, we are just football fans like you, and we do this for the love of Liverpool and the love of the game. If you want to be involved in any way, just give us some feedback, or if you want to come on the show, then get in touch with us at otpafa@gmail.com. And until next week, as always, come on Liverpool.